Hey, welcome back. It's been a couple of weeks, but I did enjoy the break. I hope you did as well. We are up to episode 19 of Let Them See You, which is entitled "'Tis the Season." And we all know why it's called "'Tis the Season" because we are past Thanksgiving and on to Christmas. Honestly, after Halloween is Christmas for me. You see nothing but Christmas decorations in the store. My kids, several times, husband too, have commented on the fact that we just kind of skip Thanksgiving altogether when it comes to decorations and what the stores are advertising. But in my opinion, that's kind of how it goes. I was just saying yesterday how it when it comes to this time of year, it's like Halloween and then Christmas and then um my birthday slash Valentine's Day nearby, and then spring break, and then super hot for a long time, and then back to Halloween, and then Christmas, and then Valentine's Day slash our birthday, and then spring break, and then super hot for a really long time. Those are all the holidays that we have in this area. That's how I feel. And so it just kind of keeps going in that way. And so I feel like this year is none different than the rest of the years that have gone by. We kind of skip Thanksgiving. That's fine. I don't mind. Thanksgiving used to be a holiday that I looked forward to, but as the years have gone on, it's not my favorite. Why? Because there's a lot of stress for some reason connected to Thanksgiving. It's because there's this pressure that, everybody's grateful. I love that. We should all be grateful all the time. But the thing is, when you're the one that has to entertain or host, including cooking and keeping the area clean and staying connected to people through conversation and your presence, it can be draining and overwhelming. So that is not always fun. This year, I didn't cook and I was very happy about it. Last year, I made everything. And the year before that, I cooked a lot too. It was time. I've been through enough this year, just in the last few months. I've been through enough. I had already let the family know I am not cooking this year. I have earned the right to sit down, which I did for the most part. I only made like really basic things before Thanksgiving so we could have, like our regular dinner, but I did not cook for Thanksgiving. One of my husband's cousins, she works at a food bank and she had the food catered from there and it was pretty good. My favorite was the brisket. It was good. The brisket was really really good. To the point to where I did not feel bad for not liking the turkey. I don't actually think I'm a turkey person. I don't know if anybody else out there feels that way, but turkey is not my favorite anymore. I don't know if I'm burned out or what, but it to me has to be like the perfect, flavorful, juicy turkey for me to really like it. Most of the time it's too dry or bland and I don't like it. So it's not for me. But I did enjoy Thanksgiving. I did enjoy being around, family and loved ones and just spending time relaxing. Oh, that break was so needed. In a couple days here, work starts again, but I'm rested and I feel good about it. I feel like we're going to be able to get through it and finish strong, which is, partly what the episode is about today. Um but before I move on, I do want to quickly talk about something I was thinking about in the car earlier. I was thinking about the fact, that I'd probably be doing something different if we had the opportunity to be in a different, I don't know, universe. There's this book on a podcast mentioned called The Midnight Library, and the main character has the opportunity to experience her life from a different perspective had she made some different choices, right? So, had she made this choice, what would her life look like? Had she made that choice in the past, what would her life look like now? So, she actually gets to experience life if she had made those choices. And so, I thought about, well, what changes would I make? What choices would I make? I don't know. What road would I travel down? And I was thinking if I wasn't doing this right now, what might I be doing? There was a time when I wanted to be an optometrist. Yeah, an eye doctor. I don't know what kind of made me want to do that, but it was sometime around fifth grade, and I had seen or heard something about the eye doctor, and I had seen like a poster or something with an eye on it, and I was curious, and I thought, I think I could be an eye doctor. I could do that. But around that same time, I had heard a teacher say, you're a girl, you don't do math, something like that, or you don't like science, something weird like that. And I believed it, and it kind of steered me off that path. That sounds crazy, but that's what happened. I really thought, well, I'm a girl. I can't be an eye doctor. That it sounds insane, but it actually did occur. And so I wonder sometimes what would have happened if I hadn't listened to that comment and just stayed on the path and thought, nope, I'm going to be an eye doctor. Interesting. Another path I might have taken was somewhere in fashion. I've always cared about clothes. I'm not the most fashionista person in the world, but I do love fashion. I do love to watch runway shows, and I've always liked to watch, the pageants. And I liked, it was something my mom and I used to watch growing up. We used to enjoy ordering out of the JCPenney catalog back in the day, just anything fashion. My mom liked fashion. My mom liked to dress up and look nice. And I have family members that say I kind of took that from her. I got that from her, which makes me feel good because, in my opinion, she was a beautiful woman. And so, every picture that I've seen of her, her hair was nice, her clothes were nice, she was decked out, like she was cute. She was a very beautiful woman. So that is something that I feel like I like to do. I don't really enjoy going anywhere and looking like, why? I don't do that. The whole bonnets on the head thing, not my style. I really haven't done that. I'm not the person that has to have foundation on in the store, but I do like to look like somebody cares about me and that I care about myself. So I enjoy the fashion of it all. For my birthday, was it this past year? It might have been last year. My husband took me, I think it was my 40th. My husband took me to New York City, and I got to do Fashion Week. And I went to a few shows, and I was in awe. It was just the coolest thing to see, the clothes and the models. And these weren't people that were perfect. These, I mean, the modeling, landscape has changed over the years. So they looked like regular people with regular bodies, that all different shapes, sizes, heights, and the clothes and the fashion were made by people who aren't necessarily your big top name brand folks, but they were good. They were nice fitting, and you could tell they took the time to put them together, and the music with the show. So I just had a really good time. So in another life, I would have probably worked somewhere in that fashion realm. I would have not necessarily walked the runways, but I probably would have been somewhere in the logistics of the show, maybe backstage, maybe getting the models together. I'm a people person, so I probably maybe would have worked with the actual models to make sure they showed up. They knew what time the show started. They had the right clothing on the hanger labeled with their name and photo. I probably would have done something like that because I love it. I enjoy the fashion and the people. Um, One other thing I thought about was, every time I watch a movie or a show, it is so interesting to me that what I notice first, especially if it's not animated, if it's a live action movie or show, I pay very close attention to what the characters are wearing and the music. Those two things capture me. I want to see the fashions and I want to hear the music because to me, what they have on is a huge part of the story, and the music, the soundtrack to the story is a huge part of the story. So those two things, when you take them away and, when it's lackluster, take away from the show or the movie as a whole. And it's probably another reason why I like musicals and things like it, because the costumes and the sound, the music is such a huge part of the actual show. That's how I feel. I'm that kid that used to walk around and there was music playing in my head. It was like a soundtrack to my life. That is who I am. So I probably, in another life, would have done something that had to do with producing the music for a show or a movie, or choosing it and fitting it together. I can hear a song to this day and be like, that goes on a show. This one, this show, or that should be in that movie. That works perfectly. I hear it and I know it's a hit. I hear it and I can see the scene that matches it. That's a thing for me. So if I could go back and try different things, different avenues in life, I would do that. And some might say it's not too late. You can do it. Maybe, I don't know. But I am enjoying where I'm at right now. I can still explore fashions and music and, different things, and the eye doctor right now. So that's what I'm doing. So 'tis the season, everyone. 'Tis the season. I just wanted to always be rooted in joy. Y'all know that is a thing for me. It is real easy to sit in frustration and sadness and the things that pull us down and divide us. It is easy. I mean, right there, reach out and touch it. It's always really close and easy to obtain. So I work really hard and choose to try to hang on to the joy and the things that keep us moving forward. So this season, I do want to make sure we understand that there is a balance. We all know as educators, this is the time of year where we want to be joyous. We want to, make sure that we're embracing that togetherness that the season brings, and we pay attention and are present for the lights and the laughter and the kids dressed up with in their little elves and the little ears, and then like the antlers, and they wear their cute little shirts and they're singing songs, and there's a musical and there's trees decorated everywhere. It's just beautiful. It's a beautiful time of year. But there's this other side of it that is also lots and lots of pressure. We know this. There's deadlines, there's data meetings, this push to keep performing. We got to close gaps and we got to close the semester strong. We know that. And that balance can be difficult at times because you want to have a good time and you want to be present and you want to be joyous and smiling and understanding that this is a time of year where we're supposed to embrace all of those things. But you also have to remember that we are there to do a job, and that is grow kids, right? Part of it is emotionally and spiritually, right? But academically, they got to grow, and we got a job to do, and we got to stay in the work. And so there's that balance, right? It's not easy, and it's not something that everyone does with ease. So we have to work together to make it happy. Yes, make it happy, but also to make it happen, right? Because as educators, we got to support each other in doing that balance. It's hard. It is difficult to navigate at this time of year. So we work together for student progress. So let's talk about the glow versus the grind. We know that beneath the glow, beneath everything you see in the hallway, beneath, the music that's playing as kids are arriving to school and we're just in the best of moods, we know underneath the surface, the grind is, the benchmark assessments and the data we get from them. We know that we have to use that data intentionally to plan the small groups that should be happening for the next few weeks and beyond based on what we saw in that data, right? We know that we have to be pushing for attendance. This is a time of year where families, for whatever reason, right, can often decide to miss school for several weeks at a time. And that attendance matters on so many levels, right? Federally, it matters for the money, of course, but it also matters academically. Your highest students, if they are not there, can fall behind rather quickly because they've missed a lot of instruction. This is not the time of year where we slack. This is a time of year where we are deep in the work and we are intentional, and it is hard when the kids aren't there. It's hard. And trying to catch them up is hard after the, new semester begins because you're moving on in some cases, right? And depending on your grade level for math, it's you don't come back to it always very quickly. You gotta be there because some stuff isn't spiraled, the way that you can do in ELA, right? So it is a push to get kids to school in the chair learning. You're wrapping up those units. You are trying to stay on course to make sure you get through everything because when you're taking these assessments, they're often based on what's been taught. And if it hasn't been taught, then the kids aren't going to do well on it because it wasn't taught, because we were off of pace. We've got to stay on pace. There's grades that are coming out, and those grades should be a reflection of what's been learned. Again, they're not going to be very good if they weren't in attendance and if it wasn't taught. So we've got that whole balance that has to happen. And finalizing them, checking those report cards, right? It's a thing. We're ending the second 9 weeks if you're in a 9 weeks period rotation. And this time has gone so fast. It is quick. I'm on my own personal children because they're both sitting at a C in one of their classes. And it's like, guys, we've got to grind it out. You have got to bring these grades up. And one of my kids, that C is in social studies. And I'm like, dude, social studies has like 6 grades. 3 of them have already happened. I need you to get it together because you don't have very many more chances to get it together. You're not going to. So you've got to focus and give your best effort on every single assignment, every single one. We don't have time. That's that. You feel the pressure. Do you feel it? It's the timing of it all. We don't have time. And then those behaviors, yikes, the classroom behaviors, sometimes they spike at this time of year. We'll get into more why that happens in a little bit. But yeah, you see a shift in the behaviors for sure. So that unspoken expectation, I mentioned the pressure to perform. it is a balancing act because you want your classrooms to be joyful. You want your hallways to be full of anticipation for the year to come. And let's make our New Year's resolutions and let's talk about growth and let's set our goals, right? That joy is important, but instruction also has to be rigorous. Gotta have both. You can't just write about your goals and how you want to do better in the next year. You actually have to continue working right now to meet them. And so it has to happen. And then you have to keep the behavior calm, including yours, right? Because sometimes for some of us, the stress can get to you rather than the joy of the occasion. Some people, it's like, oh, I kind of messed up. I'm slacking a little bit, but come on, it's almost Christmas. It's fine. There's that end of it. And then the other end of it, like, no, we gotta go. Sit down, don't talk, be quiet, stop laughing. That's the other end, right? Again, it's a balance. We need everyone to realize, yes, be joyous, be happy, set goals, but also the rigor is now. It's now. We're still working bell to bell, bell to bell. We need every moment. It all counts. We also have to keep the morale high while we're also ensuring that the kids are learning. So, yes, we want that higher rigor. Yes, walkthroughs are still happening. Yes, observations for 45 minutes are still happening, right? There, we didn't stop. But you have to keep the morale at a place to where it's like, gosh, all they care about is the numbers. No, we care about the people that are learning and that are growing, that are affecting the numbers. That is part of it. But if staff doesn't feel that, then you're not doing something right. You also got to keep families informed, um, while focusing on the other things happening on the campus. You have to make sure everyone's on the same page and has enough time to be prepared for what's to come. Everyone needs to know what's coming. So there is, the staff information that has to be delivered. There is the parent information that has to be delivered. But then the classroom teachers and grade levels are also delivering information to keep everyone informed. So information to families is really, really a big deal. Everyone needs to know so that we can stay informed and be ready to go. We also got to keep ourselves together. That's a lot of pressure because sometimes you can forget what you need in order to keep your engines going. You can't slack off on your own fuel. You can't be like, well, I just won't eat breakfast today. Do not do that. Or, oh, I didn't have time to eat lunch. I'm saying this because I'm guilty of it. I do it. I know I do. When it's so fast paced, you cut things out, and it is really easy to cut out the lunch that you should eat because it's 30 minutes and you could be thinking to yourself, man, I could be doing something else in this 30 minutes. You could, but how much better is it for your body that you sit down and you take in some fuel so that you can do that job a little bit better in a few minutes? That's important. I'm speaking to myself. This is really a conversation for me. I don't know if you're anything like me, but that's huge. Eat and drink your water. I've said that I don't know how many times. Eat and drink your water. Okay? So, this is just a reminder, don't exhaust yourself. Don't stress yourself out. Just do the best you can to balance it all. And as administrators, we are going to try to help with that as much as possible. As much as possible, we're going to make the plates make sense, if that makes sense. So what you can handle on your plate is what shall remain. You shouldn't have a lot of extra things on your plate. And we'll talk a little later in this episode about what we're going to do to ensure that doesn't happen. I want you to also choose peace without dropping off your purpose. That, could mean that you have to protect your energy. Like I said, eat and drink your water, but it's also your emotional energy. What you choose to worry about is important. You can easily, once again, pick out what is something that you feel like you need to take a lot of time thinking about. I don't think everything is as important as we always make it. There is a hierarchy of focus. And so be intentional about what you choose to take time and stress about. Be intentional about that. Set your boundaries. That goes hand in hand. If you, again, talking to myself, you don't have to stay at work till 5:30, don't do it. Because the work that you're doing from the end of the school day to 5:30, if it's something that could be done tomorrow, do it tomorrow. Okay? Because it's going to be there. So you can come back and pick it up tomorrow. You also need to, if you're a teacher, pace your instruction. Again, you don't want to be too far off pace, but you do want to speak up and say, hey, this happened. Hey, we had this program. Hey, we had this field trip. Threw things off a bit. I need to streamline. Talk to your instructional coach, talk to your administrators, get someone involved to help you figure out where you can trim and find some time. Because most likely there is some supporting standard that's going to come back up, or there is something else that is in the curriculum for you to teach for 2 days that isn't, tested or has been tested once over the past 6 years, that you don't necessarily need to spend all that time on, that you can spiral in during a do now or during a deep practice, during a warm up, whatever you call it. You can use that time to teach and catch up on the things that are more important, that are going to take precedence over the more supporting stuff. So think about that. And simplify as much as possible. Again, in our tip of the week this week, we'll talk about how you do that. Okay? Choose to be present over being perfect. We don't have to be perfect. We're going to mess up. We might not even make the best decisions that we can, but intent goes a long way. So most people can sense and feel and understand your intent. I say most because that is a fact. Not everyone will, and that's okay. Again, we're not perfect. Just try your best. That's it. So just try to keep a hold of your emotions. It's really important. Keep a hold of what's most important during this time of year. Okay? So before we move on to the tip of the week, I just want to remind everyone about what kids can possibly be feeling. We said that, possibly the behavior can spike a little bit, but there are some reasons why that behavior can spike. One of them being overstimulation. Some kids don't love the loud, Christmas music. Some kids don't love all the blinking, flashing lights. Some kids don't love, the change in attire. They don't love the way the sweaters feel on their skin. They don't love those jeans or the long pants on their skin, and it affects them. And that happens. It most definitely does. Trust me, I have 2 children on the autism spectrum, and I know these things. And so overstimulation is real, also for the adults. But just thinking about how that can affect a child's behavior can help us make some different decisions or help us understand them a little bit more and be proactive. We know our kids pretty well by this time of the year. Some kids have been at the school for years and years, and they're, at an age now where triggers and things like that. Some kids may be newer. Regardless, if you've had time to get to know them throughout this school year, which someone in the campus should have by now, right? Unless they're brand new, they just got there last week. But that there are some triggers that could cause them to act differently. And that trigger could be just overstimulation. And so just getting them to a less stimulated environment, a calm space, more quiet, less lighting, things that feel better on their skin, even just the air in the room or the texture of certain things can make a huge difference, Some students are under supported, meaning they have been struggling with something. It can be academically, it can be emotionally, and things can come to a head. We're nearing the end of the second 9 weeks and the end of this semester, and they know they're struggling. They realize that it's been rough and it's still rough. And so some of them haven't received the support that they've needed to get over the hump. Some of them have, and it's not working, and it needs to change. So that could cause some behavior issues as well. So we just got to get to the bottom of what those things might be so that we can fix them. Another thing kids might be struggling with are being anxious about actually being on the break. So, for whatever reason, they could be acting out because they know we're about to be out of school for another 2 weeks. Maybe that 1 week was rough, and now we're about to be out of school for 2 weeks. And that's going to be rough in their minds as well. It could be a lack of routine. I know for a fact that when we're on break, my kids do not have the same routine they do as when we're not, period. Some kids struggle with that. Some really crave knowing that they're going to wake up, have breakfast, go to school. They're going to, learn, and they're going to get to go to out class and at recess time, come home, eat dinner, go to sleep and repeat. Some kids really enjoy that, and not having it affects them. It does. Some kids are dealing with some things at home that can affect their behavior as well. Again, it could also be the adults. There are times that are stressful for us, and sometimes the holidays are one of those times. I personally struggle during holidays. Anyone who's lost a loved one can struggle during the holidays because you think about those loved ones during the holidays, of course, because that's a time of coming together and spending time with those people, right? I lost my mom at a very young age. I was 12. So this time of year is a struggle. The last time that I got to see and spend time with her was around Christmas that year. And the following January, she was gone. So it's a rough time for some people, and it affects people differently, and it affects how they interact with their families differently. And so in turn, it can affect the kids. So we just have to keep that in mind and consider that though we're like happy-go-lucky and joyous, that there are people that may not be. They may not be feeling that. And that's okay. We just have to consider it, right? Consider what might be ailing them and support them in the best way that we can. And then some kids might just be excited. Like on the flip side, they might literally just be excited and struggle to sit down and focus. Yes, we know ADD, ADHD. These are things that are on the rise. But I'm talking about environmental inability to focus, because there's a tree in the room and it's bright and it's pink and we love it. And I like to look at it instead of paying attention to what my teacher is saying. That can happen. It can be a thing. And we have to take that into account. Even call it out in the classroom. Like, hey guys, I know the environment's different. Every time you walk around in this building, you might see something new and exciting and fresh and something that could take your mind off of learning. But let me remind you, when we were here in this space, you have to be learning. Let me remind you of what it looks like. This is a great time to review expectations for listening, thinking, and learning in the classroom. It's hard. It is very, very difficult to do because there are so many other things that can take the attention away. So it takes a very structured and routine-oriented educator to focus everyone in the right direction for extended periods of time. That's hard. Especially our friends, our kiddos that they're just bouncy already. And so now we're adding to it, right? And then some are just managing those emotions and they don't have the tools to deal with them. So they're not quite sure why they're upset. They just are, right? Or they're not quite sure why they're struggling with something today, or why what that kid said set them off. They're not quite sure why, but that's because they didn't have the tools they needed to handle it. So we can provide the tools. We can give them to them. We can teach them to them. I have a fabulous counselor at my campus, and she has been meeting with different grade levels on different topics, but they are always so timely and always so connected to what's needed in that moment. And those are the things that help kids build a toolkit for handling their emotions and handling different situations, handling how to interact with one another, especially during a time such as this, where there's so much to be overstimulated by, so much to focus on instead of the learning, many things to misunderstand, right? So we have to support them in this work. It's not easy, but your calm helps them to be calm. And your joy models joy for them. And so when you set boundaries, you show them what it looks like to do so. These are the things they need. And these are the things we can offer to support them. So we're going to help the students in the semester in emotional tact as well. We're all working to do that. And so that brings us to this week's tip of the week. This week's tip of the week is simplify your to-do list. Simplify your to-do list. 'Tis the season, y'all, and that list gets real long. Sometimes it involves, oh, I gotta go buy a gift for this person. Oh, I gotta make this thing. Oh, I gotta create that and bring it to the party. Oh, I gotta make sure that I have 3 more grades because yikes, that crept up on us, right? Think about your list of things to do and simplify it. What can you streamline? What can you put in with something else? What can you decide needs to look different so that it doesn't take so much of your time and so much of your energy? What can you streamline, right? What about shortening something? Maybe you usually do a 30-minute workout and you're like, I don't even know where I can find 30 minutes. Fine. Don't find 30 minutes. Find 15. Find 15 and then another 15 later on in the day or at a different time. Or maybe, like me, I can fit in 15 minutes of running at some point, but the other 15 is probably the speed walking that I'm doing around the campus during the day. It happens. Or the immense stress that occurs that causes my heart rate to raise in the first place. And my watch counts as exercise. So it's fine. I think you give yourself grace on that stuff, right? Postpone. What has to be done right now? What can wait until later? Postpone some stuff on that list. If you don't have to do it today, if you don't have to do it tomorrow, then postpone it, do it later. I've done it with this podcast. Y'all don't pay me. No, nobody pays me to do this. This is a hobby. So I am not about to sit here and stress if my episode doesn't drop on Tuesday. That's all right. You'll get it when it comes out. Because I'm not about to stress. Postpone. See y'all later. And it's happened on more than one occasion and will. Okay, because we are self-caring over here. That's what we're going to do. And then delegate. If there is something that you could get help with, get it. Ask for help. You know people's strengths, right? Use them. Say, hey, I really need help with this and you're really good with it. Can you help me? Ask them. Delegate. That works as far as that to-do list of yours. And then if all else fails and you realize, maybe, just maybe, I don't have to do this, remove it. Take it off your list. If you don't have to do it, don't do it. If it doesn't bring you joy, if it doesn't serve your purpose, if it's not moving you forward toward your goals, take it off your list. You don't need to do it. Remove it. Doesn't have to be there. So even those smallest simplifications, the smallest ones, can create more mental space for you. It creates more emotional well-being. You need to be well. You don't have time, space, or energy to be overwhelmed. There's plenty going on in the world right now that can overwhelm you. Don't let your to-do list be one of them. We don't have time for that. Give yourself permission to do less so that you can show up better. Okay? Rediscover your joy, embrace your true self, and let them see you. Thanks for listening to Let Them See You. Until next time, climb with courage, stand in the light, let them see you.